I remember years ago when I learned what was actually healthy and it blew my mind. So be ready to hear some things that maybe you haven't heard before. And even if you have heard them, it's a great refresher. So I remember that I used to cook with olive oil all the time. At high heat, I would be cooking up zucchini in the pan, mushrooms, anything, you name it. I was cooking it in olive oil and even also using canola oil. I thought that canola oil was healthy. And the word healthy is used so much. Everyone wants to say that what they have is healthy. So this is just my opinion. It's based on the latest research. And I know after many years of using these fats that they have helped my body so much. So my name is Lindsay Gramont, and I am the Homemade Mommy, and I'm doing a real food back to basics series. You can check out my story and why I started this Facebook page like 9 years ago, a couple of videos ago, and you can see that I learned a lot about real food a few years ago, and it totally turned what I thought on its head. Now, fats are so important, and as women, we learned that fat was bad, right? We learned that fat was going to make us fat. And so this is why I wanted to talk about this topic first, because we just have no clue of how much fat we need in our body. And one thing that blew my mind was when I learned that our lungs are made mostly of saturated fat. And I grew up with asthma, and I thought, well, if my lungs are made of fat, then they must need fat to be healthy. And this was, for so many years, I was taking things out. I was becoming gluten-free. I was taking gluten out. I was taking dairy out. I was learning that all these things were bad, but I wasn't thinking about what I needed to put back in my body. And being able to eat vegetables, which everyone was saying were so healthy, but just tasted so bad unless they were really fresh and organic and kind of local. I mean, I've learned now that there are so many vegetables out there other than just the ones you can buy at the grocery store, and the grocery store ones don't taste that good. So if you're wondering why your kids don't eat vegetables, stop buying them at the grocery store. And if you can get access to farm fresh vegetables or even grow your own from heirloom seeds, then, and if you can grow your own, I mean, that's cheap, right? So most of the year, or at least some part of the year, you should be able to grow some of your own vegetables. But cooked in good fat, vegetables taste so much better and are more palatable to children. So that's what got my ears perking up. I really wanted to understand this better. So let's talk about fats. The ones that I do not use anymore are margarine, canola oil, and any other vegetable oils like soybean oil, any of those kind of vegetable oils to cook with. The reason why, I mean, if I told you right now, why don't you just go and drink a shot of some soybean oil or some canola oil? Just go to your pantry and grab that, that oil and get it and take a shot of it and sip it, see what it tastes like. Ew, right? I mean, I think that just says it right there. Or let's go take a big, bite of margarine. Let's go taste it. Ew, right? I mean, those oils are not good. They don't smell good. They don't taste good. They're actually rancid. They are actually rancid. And our body's response to that is telling us that something's wrong, that these are not good. And children eat these oils every day. They're in pretty much every packaged food that you could find. And they are made, if you just Google like the picture of the type of refinery that canola oil is made in, you're not going to want to eat it anymore. They basically refine it to the point where it is totally disgustingly rancid. I mean, at high temperatures, these oils completely degrade. They become super inflammatory. Basically, your body is just rejecting them. And it's going to do anything it can to just get it out and to totally give your body a response to that irritation that is not what we want. So those oils are nasty, seriously nasty. They put bleach and deodorizer and all kinds of things in it to make it palatable, like to somewhat taste good. But when you start eating these fats I'm about to talk about, and then you go back to like a restaurant and you eat something fried in canola oil, your mouth is going to taste like pennies. It's going to taste metallic. And that just tells you this isn't real. This isn't what I should be eating. Again, back to the common sense. If you watch my introductory video, this is common sense. Look, God did not make fat for us to say we got to take it out of everything, right? God did not make something that needed to be engineered in and made to taste good in a factory, right? That is not common sense, okay? So let's just put those aside. The vegetable oils are highly inflammatory. There's a few that are much better at higher heats. What we want is something that doesn't break down at high heat and become super rancid, right? That's what we want. Our body wants something in its natural state. So let's talk about the oils that we do eat, that we should eat, that are healthy. And let's not be afraid, ladies, of saturated fat. Saturated fat is good for our bodies. It's good for our lungs. It's good for every part of our body. And again, cholesterol, if you read the latest research, actually is great for female hormones and male hormones. It is the building block for hormones. It's actually also fantastic for our immune system. You know, you don't want super high cholesterol, but there's a lot more to the picture to heart health than just cholesterol. So do your research on it. It is totally been debunked, and you can trust that any of these fats, if you buy them like how I'm going to tell you, then you're going to feel so much better. This thing alone is going to help your hormones, it's going to help your skin, it's going to help your lungs, and it's going to bring inflammation down in the body. It's actually also going to keep you more full. Your blood sugar is going to be more balanced, and you're not going to be craving that sugar all the time. Because when we take the fat out of our diet, then we add more sugar in, more salt, more of those things that are not good for us, more chemicals to take that out, and that is not what God wants for us. I mean, why would milk be made with fat in it, butter fat, if we were supposed to take it out and like drink skim milk, which is totally disgusting? No. All right, so let's talk about olive oil first. Okay, so I've got this olive oil here that is fantastic that I got from California. You definitely need to research where you get your olive oils from and buy it in bulk. I should be storing this in a dark glass, but I'm a toddler mom and I'm kind of like overwhelmed, so I haven't done that yet. And look how much I've already had. I had a goal. Anyway, it's all good. We're real here. So this is a fantastic olive oil that is organic. It is actually 100% olive oil. Most of the olive oil that you can buy in the grocery store, probably like 99%, is adulterated with various other vegetable oils. I know. It's been going on for centuries. Even Mark Twain wrote about it, this industry. It is something that people do just to make more money. Sorry to burst your bubble, but if you just Google that, you'll find a lot of information about how olive oil isn't really olive oil. So really find a good, reputable source for olive oil. Again, don't necessarily use the olive oil for high heat cooking. You don't want to fry in olive oil, but using it in salad dressings or making mayonnaise with it, or you know, marinating things with it, it's great. Okay, so just things that are lower heat or cold, you're going to get the fantastic benefits of the olive oil. Olive oil is fantastic. It's one of the vegetable oils that is fantastic, but again, you don't want to break it down and have it become rancid and inflammatory. This olive oil that I got here is, my dad actually found it. My dad's awesome. He does good research to find good olive oil, but this is the Berkeley Olive Grove. I'm sure they're going to be overwhelmed now. Don't go buying a bunch of olive oil from them. It's my secret. No, I'm just kidding. But this is a really premium olive oil that is high in phenols, and just a really, really great olive oil, and you can do research on that. All right, so next up on the vegetable oil side of things, so we're going to go from the vegetable oils to the animal fats here, is avocado oil. Avocado oil is great at medium to high heat as well. A lot of potato chips you see out there now are fried in avocado oil, and that's pretty good. That's a pretty good choice. You want to make sure that you get the unrefined kind, because once they refine it, that's at a super high heat. It's already been through a round of high heat, and then when you go and put it in the high heat again, it's going to be not so stable, okay? And that's when it can break down. This is, you can get organic or you can get not organic. I'd rather get organic. My husband bought this at the store. He doesn't always pay attention. It looks, you know, organic, but it's not labeled as such, so I'll have to tell him that. But anyway, you can find this on Amazon, in your grocery store. Avocado oil, good stuff. All right, the next kind of oil that you can cook with at up to about 350 degrees is coconut oil. You hear about how coconut oil is so great. You want to make sure that you get the unrefined, virgin, organic coconut oil. That's what you want. The refined kind, again, already going to be broken down and become, you know, rancid more easily. I like baking with coconut oil, to be honest. I think cooking in coconut oil, I tend to taste that coconut flavor, and that's not my favorite flavor. But I've had some, you know, coconut oils that I have found does not taste to my preference. It makes me like kind of burp and stuff. That usually is an indicator that it has been refined, and maybe you need to buy a different brand, because again, there's lots of people out there trying to make a buck on coconut oil, and they're not making it the way that they should, and not, you know, standing up to their claims of it being organic and whatever and raw. So, but coconut oil is great. Again, any saturated fat, you know, just as a point of note, is going to be solid at room temperature. So coconut oil, that's why it's solid at room temperature. It is really, really very good for you. The studies that have come out that show that it's not are kind of ridiculous and have been debunked, and you can research those online as well. All right, so let's move on to the animal fats. Another fat that is a vegetable fat that is pretty good is palm oil, but you know, you've got to find some good sources for those, and they're like bright pink, kind of interesting color, orange, a lot of vitamin A in those, and palm oil is great if you can find a good source. I tend to have not really enjoyed the ones that I have bought, so I just kind of stick with baking for my coconut oil, and then I move into the animal fats, which I prefer, to be honest. I think they taste better. So what's the base animal fat that we can cook with? Butter. Now again, butter doesn't do so well at high heats. You've probably seen that when you're cooking some eggs in a pan. The pan gets too hot, the butter is going to burn. So, you know, use your butter in ways that are going to serve the butter well. Spread it on your bread, you know, on your muffins and all that kind of stuff. And when you're cooking with higher heat, you know, make sure you don't burn it. But butter is fantastic. You know, I'm just going to say this. You know, we learn to use butter just a little bit, right? No, I'm going to say, instead of doing a pat of butter, do a knob of butter. Like, cook with a big chunk of butter if you're cooking eggs in it. Your kids will love it so much more. You put a lot of butter on the bread. Have some bread with your butter. Butter is fantastic, but make sure that you buy pasture-raised, you know, butter from pasture-raised cows. That means cows that are eating grass. Try and get organic. If you can't find any of those, you can generally find Kerrygold butter in your grocery store. But just, you know, any butter is better than eating margarine. So if you can only just get whatever butter, go get it instead of margarine. Okay, butter is really, really great. It's going to keep you fuller. A good trick if you want to manage your blood sugar and your sugar cravings is to mix some butter, a lot of butter, in a bowl, like a little container, with some raw honey, and carry it around with you in your purse. And anytime you have a craving for sugar, take a big old bite of that, and it will totally stop that sugar craving. I know, just a little secret here. Okay, next up is ghee. Ghee is one of my favorite cooking fats. This is basically butter, but clarified to take out the casein, or the milk protein. And it's thick, it's yellow, it's amazingly stable. You can keep it in the jar outside of the fridge. This is very common in Indian cooking. This is my favorite brand, Ancient Organics. You can get it on Amazon, but it is really amazing. It is, the highest smoke point is at 485 degrees. So you can do frying, and that's great for cooking, baking, even spreading. This is really great because it's also lactose, casein, and gluten-free. So it's got all of the things that generally people are sensitive to in dairy taken out. It has vitamins A, D, E, and K. It's amazing, really. This ghee is like the best. I like ghee so much better than coconut oil, so I tend to cook in ghee. Love it. You can cook in ghee and a little bit of olive oil if you want to kind of bring that smoke point up for the olive oil. It's fantastic. Another fat that I love is duck fat. Let's see if I can get you guys to see that. Rendered duck fat. Delicious. This is amazing. Cooked, potatoes cooked in duck fat is so, so good. Same with chicken fat. It's really easy to render this from chicken skin. You can buy chicken skin like scraps from the butcher. They don't want them. I mean, people want, like, random people who don't understand fat want boneless, skinless chicken breast, and they save the fat from the chickens, and you can go and score that probably for free, render it, and get yourself some amazing fats. Just make sure you get it from pasture raised chickens who are outside eating whatever their chickens are supposed to eat. Don't get it from yucky sources. Anyway, another one that I love is beef tallow. Beef tallow also is hard, rendered from beef fat. You can score beef fat from a butcher. Most people don't want it. You can get like a 5-pound bag of beef fat and render it. I have a recipe on my blog for how to render beef fat into tallow. It is the best fat. It is the closest fat to our skin's natural sebum that is not a vegetable oil. This is like real deal here. I have a lot of recipes on my blog for making lotions and potions out of beef tallow. Your skin will never feel better. I'm telling you, it's good stuff. So beef tallow also great to fry fries in. McDonald's used to fry their French fries in beef tallow prior to, I think, 1997, when they switched over to the yucky vegetable fats because they were less expensive. But remember when like McDonald's French fries used to taste really good? It was because they were cooked in beef tallow. It doesn't taste metallic. It doesn't taste rancid. It tastes delicious. So we do lots of baking. I roast potatoes in beef tallow. You can buy like a massive tub of rendered beef tallow online, and you can buy it pasture raised from grass-fed cows, happy, organic, delicious cows that are happy out on the grass. You can buy tallow, and I basically get the big tub and I scoop the tallow into these deli containers and I store them in the freezer. And then this is a pint. I can pull it out and use what I need to in the fridge, keep this in the fridge, and just pull out the next one, pull out the next one. And if you like to do frying, then it's great to kind of let these defrost, dump them into your fryer, and you're good to go. So beef tallow, another one that people use, I don't personally use, I'm Jewish, so I don't eat pork, but a lot of people use lard as well, and just finding a good source of rendered lard from pigs that have been fed properly is huge. So that is fats in a nutshell. Fats are amazing for you. Please don't think that we aren't supposed to eat fat. Make sure that you eat fats that are not inflammatory. The animal fats are super great at bringing down inflammation in the body. We have grown to eat this type of thing over our evolution as human beings, and we know our bodies are in harmony when we eat this way. So there you have it, Real Food Facts 101. You can follow me on Instagram and see me using some of these at HMadeMommy, and you can check out all of my videos on my YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/HMadeMommy. I'd love to see you on both of those areas to engage and to learn and to see what I'm up to. And there's a lot of videos on my YouTube channel from the past 10 years. So a lot to learn. And I love doing these back to basic videos, and I'll see you next time. You tell me in the comments what you want the next Real Food 101 video to be about. I could do sweeteners, we can talk about salt, We can talk about animal products, organ meats, all kinds of, what's good on the animal front and why I'm not vegan or vegetarian. We can talk about that. Many things. Sugar, oh gosh, talk about sugar. It's fantastic. There are so many topics to share, and I can't wait, and I love this medium, being able to come to you live. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.